in our country till 1992 for children and for young people who have not 18 years, it was prohibited to go to church.
Once, when Pablo was 12 years old, because they had seen him at Christmas Mass the night before, his teachers took his winter coat. He had to walk home wearing only his shirt. It was 20 degrees below zero. Pablo lost consciousness. He was in the hospital for 8 months. He lost his hearing in his right ear, but by now, Pablo was used to this kind of abuse.
They make me kneel in front of our classroom, and they beat me very often. One teacher of physics bring me in his room and beat me very often and said me, you will never became a priest.
Severe persecution was the fate of the Roman Catholic Church. 45,000 priests were killed. Churches were transformed into storage depots, theaters, prisons, and even into museums of atheism.
About 30,000 churches in my country were destroyed.
They came to destroy Pablo's home parish as well. For 2 months, people stood outside the church to prevent it from being destroyed. Many of them were killed. 1 year, over 9,000 people were killed. Still, people went to church on Sundays to pray.
My parents bring me to the church for prayer. People began to pray, to read first reading, second reading, gospel, and after people wait in silence. Sometimes people was listening Radio Vaticana. It was Holy Mass in Latin, and they was in communion with them.
Once, young Pablo asked his mother why people in church were crying.
And my mother said once that because we have not a priest who will be able to give us Jesus.
So from a very young age, Pablo wanted to be a priest so that people would not be crying anymore. But it was illegal for parents to take their children to church. Police came frequently. They beat people and sometimes took them to prison.
When we went to church, when teachers see me, and they took my hand, and my parents took from other hand, and it was fight to enter into in the church.
Because his parents were openly Catholic, they both lost their jobs and had to work as laborers in the fields. Still, they pressed on. Pablo was even able to celebrate his first communion.
My first communion also was in the same way. It was in church, inside, during the night. In altar there were only the candles, because our government said that electrical light was invited by Lenin, and we don't. It is prohibited to use in church, so that there were all things in clandestinity. I was with other 11 guys in the celebration in clandestinity.
The few priests that remained continued to celebrate Mass. One of these was Father Jan Olshansky, who celebrated Mass in the forest.
On the Saturdays, I'm going to this priest, to stay in forest with him, to stay on the masses, who would celebrate, to assist him, to help him during the baptism and the other things. And after this priest became a bishop, when I finished my seminary in Poland, I was ordained by him.